Okay, so I will be going live here. Well, I am live, I guess. My wife will be here shortly. She is going to handle comments for me. I have a number of werewolfy things to do tonight, including one that is work on this werewolf mask. And it isn't a werewolf mask. It is an orc mask, and it doesn't have very werewolfy teeth. So what I have done is I'm going to cut these teeth out, and I'm going to put in these teeth, which I sculpted separately, and they have their own little mold. So I'll glue those in and paint them. Then this werewolf mask will be, it'll be more of a Wolfman mask, which is what I want. And I want to paint his nose a little better too, because I think a black nose will sell this guy as a Wolfman quite a bit better. So yeah, hello, Dead End Yard Haunt. I do see that you're on, and my wife has rejoined me, so she'll probably hit comments here in a moment. Here are my dogs. You see, now he's toothless. He's a toothless mask. Just because you made a mask as one thing doesn't mean that's all it is. It's not the only life it can have. Just because you're a new monster doesn't mean that you need to... Wow, look at that. This latex, for some reason, is tearing very easily. Weird. Don't know why that did that.
Folks saying hello. Kirk Mattia.
Who?
Kirk Mattia.
Okay.
The hairy beastie.
Hello, everybody.
Says, hi, Alan. Pretty late tonight.
Yeah, it's a little later than normal for me to get on. Normally I'm on it like an hour earlier or so, but, I have stuff to do, so...
There's Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
I think that this mold had frozen because it got pretty cold the other night. So I think that latex actually froze. But these teeth will not be under any stress, so I'm not worried about them. Okay. Boom, shalaka-laka. Top teeth, let's see how these do. Just glue them right in. Clear out a little bit over here. When you're cutting a mask, it is very important that you don't leave little cut lines that can cause a run or a tear. That, and there is that. That's how it's going to go. All right, so now I glue.
Where can I buy your masks online?
Well, after Transworld, all of my half masks will be added to the website as a click-to-buy option. My wife has been reticent to do that because, gearing up for Transworld. It's true. It's true. She's like, you're throwing me under the bus. And I am, because she drove that bus and she parked it there. But what we'll do is we'll add all of the masks to the site. And then when you click to buy one, it'll say in the description, and it'll take about 2 weeks to make it. Because I don't keep stock. I'm not a Walmart. Got up for, glue.
Demogorgon was a hit at the parade.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Is latex still viable after it thaws?
No. No, when latex freezes, if it's in a mold, then that mask would not have the same rubbery properties. It would be latex, it would be rubber, but it would not be as stretchy. Just like this stuff, ripped a little bit on me because it froze in its mold, and that just tears. So, now the teeth are in better shape because they were completely encased in plaster. And I've got to paint these teeth too. And that is a good bit of fun. I do have, the puppies are in here right now because Shannon and I are both in here. They tend to want to hang out in the same areas that we do. Makes sense, them being puppies and all. And I'm putting these teeth in with the big canines on the bottom. Big canines on the bottom because I like Wolfman to have a bit of an underbite. It kind of was a classic setup from the Universal days. Okay, I'm gonna have a heat gun here.
So you're going to have to dispose of the latex.
No, because the molds were in the cold room and the buckets of latex were actually pulled over here. So I'm pretty sure the buckets of latex are actually just fine.
What are you making tonight?
Werewolves. Wolfman stuff, werewolf stuff. I'll probably start some herring, which is, I'll end up pulling out some fur and start marking off some fur and getting these werewolves furred up. But I've got a little more painting to do on some. So,
Which do you prefer to do? Build up masks to what you need, or just start fresh and sculpt what you need?
I actually really do enjoy taking a mask and transforming it. That's part of the fun for me. Okay, so you really won't be able to tell at all that these teeth were not part of this mask. Now they're not painted obviously, but see how easy they glue in there? You really only get one shot to line this up. So I am folding it in half, and I'll just line the center bit up. When that is lined up, then I'm able, there you go.
What are the teeth that you're using?
These are teeth that I sculpted. I sculpted a little set of teeth just to go in and fix these masks. And these are doing good. See, now he's got nice Wolfman chompers in there. And I'll get them painted. Let's do that right here. Get some colors.
Are these going to be for sale?
Yes, all these masks are going to Transworld. They're going to a trade show. Yes, they're going to be for sale, but you won't see these. Well, they will be on the website after Transworld. You'll notice I have a nice, thing down here on the table right here. And I don't want to get paint on it, so I'm putting my little paint palette that I always do off to the side. A little bit of red, a little bit of white. I'll mix it up for good gum color.
Sorry, are the teeth going to be for sale?
Well, they're just latex teeth. So,
Just your camera.
oh yeah, thank you. They're just latex teeth, so I don't know how useful they would be for people. But if people think that they want them, I could probably sell them, I guess.
How about the EVA helmets? Will they be for sale?
Well, yes, but I turn them into full masks first. I make the EVA helmets as a base for my apocalypse mask and for a few other things, because it's just a great way to get a mask onto your head. EVA helmets really hold things nice and tight. And a half mask can glue right onto there. There are EVA helmet patterns that you can buy online. I make up my own because all the ones that you buy online, they say that you can't sell anything you make out of them. And to do otherwise would be theft. So I don't do that.
Hey, your YouTube Wednesday. I love your early work.
Oh, thank you. The only reason I stopped doing YouTube Wednesday was time. That is the only reason. I loved doing YouTube Wednesday. I enjoyed it.
I could use some for a few latex masks that I made.
Okay, you know what? I would probably sell these latex teeth, untrimmed and unpainted. We're talking $8 plus shipping. Just latex, I'll probably use this mold about 10 times for me this year. See how that's coming? It's looking more werewolf-like already. While I have it here, I'll grab the black and I will hit his nose just with this little brush. I want him to be more Wolfman-like, and I think blacking that nose is going to do the trick. And this kind of will go on gray, but it will turn black. Actually, that's not true. I grabbed the gray. But this will go on gray. It'll be a nice undercoat for black. There's a little bit.
moved into silicone, is there a budget way to paint silicone, specifically leveling up shrunken beds?
Yes. You can use oil-based paint to tint silicone caulk that you thin with odorless mineral spirits. So you use GE Silicone 1 caulking, about $7 a tube, and you whatever color oil paint you want to mix with it, then you thin that down with odorless mineral spirits, and that is your silicone paint. Very common way for people to paint silicone. I don't want too much heat on this mask. I don't want to fry it like bacon. Just giving a nice warm wind so that nose can dry, so I can put black on it. I didn't mean to paint it gray, I just did. Now this will still look a little gray, but this will actually turn into black.
Will you be willing to bring maybe 4 sets of teeth to Transworld?
I could do that. I just have to remember. Who was asking that?
Larry Hughes.
Yeah, Larry, I can do that. The last thing I want is paint to run off of the nose, and see how much more Wolfman-like he looks now. Now that he's got Wolfman teeth in, and he has a Wolfman nose.
Thank you. Now I don't have to sell my firstborn child to Smooth On.
Yep, they want to. They're proud of their psycho paint, but it's good stuff. Yeah, that looks Wolfman-y. I'm happy with that. Great. Super. All right, let me get this guy here. His teeth are dry enough now. I can put another layer on the teeth. When you base coat in black, what happens is any color you put on will not be as vibrant because there's black underneath of it. You want something to really pop, paint it white first, because then the light goes through that top layer of paint, bounces off the white, and comes through that color again.
What's up? Do your monster workshops go state to state, or do they stay around home? Some mask letters.
They stay directly at home because I hold them in my home shop. This is my shop. My house is about 200 feet that way, and this is where I work and where I live. So they do not travel around at this point. One day, I might get a hippie bus, gut it, and build a mask making workshop, travel the country doing mask making workshops on a reality show. But right now it's just this in my shop. So yeah, second pop on the teeth. I think that's a good color on now.
Cool claw you're wearing.
Oh, this is a dragon tooth necklace that we sell. I sculpted this about 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. And I still sell them in the booth.
I love your werewolf mask.
Well, thank you. This was an orc mask, but I was able to change out the teeth, and I changed up the paint and gave him a black nose, and now he's a pretty good werewolf. Or wolfman, at least.
Can you paint hair if it's not quite the color that you ordered?
Yes, you can airbrush it, and I actually have a video online of me airbrushing white fur to turn into a gray werewolf.
Have you ever had a run-in with Russ McCamey at Transworld?
Yeah, absolutely. Russ buys masks from me every now and then. He really loved my Deranged series when I did those. He liked those. Have a run-in, like you assume it would be negative. Russ is just a person. He makes some creative choices differently than I would, but I don't think he's evil or bad. He just he makes a lot of different creative choices than I would make.
Hey, Alan.
Hello.
What inspired me to get back to what I love to do was a professional scenic through the 90s. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? That is a very fun type of work. Scenic design work, scenic work. There was a lot of big scenic shops in Orlando when I was there. And I was friends with a lot of guys from Cinnabar and those companies. A lot of billboard work. Okay. I am reorganizing here because I kind of want to see how many Wolfman I've got almost ready. And I'm going to start pulling some fur. And that's going to be exciting.
Very professional way to answer my question about Russ. Respect.
Oh, you know what? There are very few folks that I have issues with. Truly. You really have to work for me to be upset with you. Is Russ doing damage to the haunted house industry? I don't think Russ is doing any more damage than the haunters who rent a building and have a deal where they're going to pay after the season and then they skip out and don't pay the rent on that building. Happens all the time. He's not doing any worse damage to the industry than haunters who promise to pay their actors after they're open and the money starts coming in and they never pay their actors. Lots of little things damage the industry and keep us from being professional. I'm not worried about Russ McCamey making us look unprofessional. A lot of us are doing a good job of that ourselves. Every haunt that doesn't bother to get insurance, and a lot of them don't. Any haunted house that doesn't bother to pay their sales tax and taxes like they should, because they think their business only open for a month, they can slide it under the radar. You need a license to become a plumber, but anybody can open a haunted house. You need to have a license to cut hair in the state of Texas, but anybody can just go open a haunted house. And I think that's crap. Because this is my industry. This is what I do for a living. And I think if you're passionate about it, you should also work to do it right. But that's just me. Apologize for jumping on a soapbox, but I'm very passionate about haunters being professional.
I use the same gym phone. Nice.
Yeah, I used to use Harbor Freight foam for my masks and stuff, but it was too inconsistent in thickness. So now I order it out from another company, and it's much more consistent in thickness, fewer air bubbles in it, and all that. So. And I'm moving all of the Wolfmen over to that table so I can get a Wolfman head count. And this type of mask, they all take the same type of fur. So I'm going to get started on that. I think that's it. Oh, here's one. Here's a Wolfman that I have yet to paint. Here's just a black Wolfman, and the whole concept between the whole concept of this Wolfman is to When it's on, you can put in teeth, and then your beard becomes the Wolfman's beard, and the hair just blends it all in. So that's kind of nice, and you're wearing less than a full mask, but you are a full Wolfman. It's a style of mask I use all the time. Any other? Oh, I saw some pop up on my phone.
Is there a possum hanging from the ceiling fan?
There's a possum hanging. It's not a ceiling fan. It's just a wire that I hang things on, but he is dry now. So this is a dead possum that my hunchback will be carrying. So this possum has seen better days. This is Roscoe, the dead possum. I will have Roscoe for sale individually, as well as, of course, coming with the hunchback costume. There we go.
I wanted to make Bigfoot shoes for sale at a convention. I was going to use acetone to swirl alginate on my own feet and cast it in a rigid rubber. A better way to enlarge high detail molds.
Okay. I'm going to answer the question you asked, and I'm going to tell you something you didn't ask. Your foot looks nothing like a Bigfoot foot, because your foot has an arch in it, and Bigfoot have very flat feet. So I would highly recommend that you sculpt. Yes, even down to dermal ridges and everything. Go ahead and sculpt the Bigfoot foot, because it's just going to look better, I think, if you sculpt it than it will a cast of your foot. Your foot would be a big foot, but it is not a Bigfoot foot. A Bigfoot foot have a very distinct look, and it's not the same as a human footprint. Their toes kind of travel in an arc, and a lot people feet work a little differently. Some toes are all straight across. Some toes go, the second toe is longer. In most Bigfoot footprints, they kind of travel in a curve, all toes, and kind of descending order. But look up Bigfoot feet. It's just better to sculpt your own. You can even, put clay in a syringe and make your dermal ridges and everything for your toe prints, if you wanted to. Brush. Look at brush. And let's go a little bit with what's here. Gray.
Bigfoot feet have a mid-tarsal break. That's boring.
That's true. They do have a mid-tarsal break, which is different than how our feet operate. So the footprint is different. I mean, just the foot itself is engineered differently. It's a different animal. I would not recommend using your foot. Look up Bigfoot feet or Bigfoot casts, and you will see a difference. And I will tell you, the Bigfoot community is very wary of people who are just trying to swoop in and make money off of it. So I don't know if that is your intent. I would be very careful if you go down that road. Bigfooters don't necessarily buy every Bigfoot keychain that was put out. They kind of like how I'm very passionate about the haunt industry being authentic. They're pretty passionate about Bigfoot being taken seriously. If you take him seriously, you'll study his feet before you sell. I do not speak for the whole Bigfooting community. I'm barely a Bigfooter myself, but any group of people, I think, but especially ones who are desperate for validation. Haunter. I want to be seen as a legitimate business. And when someone asks me, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work in haunted houses. I direct a haunted house in Plano, Texas. Normally the second question is, what do you do the rest of the year? I assure you, I could only do that and be a very busy man the whole year. Pro wrestling, more legitimatized than haunted houses. I have issue with that. Nothing against pro wrestling. Now, I also sculpted a new Wolfman mask that I'm very excited about. It's drying in front of a heater right now so that I can pour it up later, maybe tomorrow. So if you're going to sell Bigfoot stuff, do your research. That's all I'm saying.
Jay Lee says, watch it, brother.
Or give me the elbow. Yeah, that's just a perception that haunted houses have been seen as this fly-by-night business for years. And I don't think we have to do that anymore. I think we're real business. Not all of us.
What kind of Halloween mask is that?
This will be a Wolfman when it's done. I'm just starting kind of the base layer of it. I used to always do my Wolfman flesh colored. Like this. And like this. But I've been moving towards gray as a skin tone, and I'm pretty happy with that. This guy's nose, I want to re-black. A little gray to me.
I was going to use my feet to make accurate dermal ridging. The mid-tarsal break is something I've never heard. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much time and energy have been put into Bigfoot's feet as far as study because they're so different from ours. Look up the work of Jeff Meldrum, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who is a scientist. I forget exactly what kind. I kind of want to say primatologist, but I think that's not right.
I'm not a Bigfoot guy either, but I'm not going to lie, it sells. Sculptors got to eat.
That's true. That's true. But it never hurts to do research. Never hurts to do research. Okay, happy with this. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that base color. Do another layer of paint. Technique I'm using is dry brushing. That's why you see me get most of the paint off of the brush before I really go in.
Third degree says, Google George Meldrum, you'll find some good info regarding its mechanics. He's a professor at Idaho State University, a paleontology professor.
George Meldrum or Jeff Meldrum?
Jeff Meldrum.
Okay. And by doing the research, you might also get inspired to do other things. You never know. So this is lighter, but I'm putting on less of it. So you're getting this lighter color and then a little bit of that darker color underneath. And the black. I'm dry brushing so I can preserve blocks of color. Very important to me.
I got an order for a devil baby from Hull House. I knew nothing of it. I had to read for 3 hours before I could price it, so I will without a doubt take your advice on the feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to help your work.
Are you going to add any skin tone dry brushing over the gray?
He's going to have a very gray skin tone, but I am going to do one more pass, which will lighten it up and put a little bit of yellow in it.
Do you ship to England? I am looking for an orc urukai mask.
Wife, do we ship to England?
We do, it just costs a good deal more.
My wife says we do, it just costs a good deal more. And so we just have to do a little bit of research and say, okay, we can ship for you, it's going to cost you this much. Now I've got this like reddish color that I put under the eyes, but I'm just putting it a little bit everywhere, and that's going to make it look like there's a little bit of blood moving under the skin. I don't want it heavy, I just want a hint of it. Because gray looks a little lifeless to me, so I try not to do just gray.
Okay, cool. I have followed you for ages and your work is fantastic.
Thank you very much. I enjoy making orc masks. Now, because I'm dry brushing, what I put on there actually dries very fast.
Do you think you'll ever get back into doing YouTube Wednesday videos? I really miss those.
Yes, I will. Without a doubt, I will. My wife and my wife is very much my partner in everything that I do. If I'm doing something well, it's because my wife helped. And if you ever come to a monster camp or something, you really see that in action. Even if I'm just working till I almost fall over, she keeps me from falling over. So that's huge. But with my wife's help, I should be able to bring back YouTube Wednesday before too long. We talk about it weekly. I'm not even kidding. I think like once a week we end up having a conversation about, here's how we can bring YouTube Wednesday back. Because, it's not good to just do a video and then nothing. A video and then nothing. When I bring it back, I really want it to come back. And do maybe another, 40 in a row, 40 weeks. And then, have a season, have it be off for a little while, and come back again. But I will tell you that I kept it going for about 3 years, a video every week, and that's a lot.
It's better if he still owes an airbrush video. Michael Lassiter.
Better what?
You still owe an airbrush video.
I owe a couple. Yes, I do. I also owe folks a tentacle skinning video, but no one ever asked me for that because they've seen the tentacle video.
This may sound weird, but watching you work is very calming. I don't know why.
I could watch other people work all day long.
Awesome. I very much look forward to that. Did you go to school or learn in the field on your own?
I very much learned in the field on my own. But if you're paying attention, the world is school. You know, there's opportunities to learn all over the place. And I take all of those opportunities.
Great to have a supportive hunt partner, especially when it's your spouse.
It is indeed. Okay. Now see how that's not like just gray now? It's not as poppy, it's not as bright, but I think it's gonna look good. And I think all these guys could use airbrush. I don't think they have any airbrush yet. But his nose is drying, and then I'll put another one on there. Don't want to bubble the paint. Just want to help dry it. Latex is organic. It's tree sap. Tree sap from a rubber tree. So anything that's going to hurt your hand, temperature-wise, probably going to hurt that latex.
He probably owes people huge projects, priorities.
Well, what killed YouTube Wednesday, and I'm not even going to be gentle about it, was Dark Hour Haunted House. When Dark Hour opened, I became so busy with Dark Hour that I had to give it my full attention. And the 10 hours or so a week that it takes to produce a YouTube video, even a 20-minute DIY video, between prepping, gathering materials, doing it, shooting it, editing it, and uploading, I didn't have that time anymore. And it's not like things have really calmed down.
I went to Vinatieri's school, but learned way more by myself.
You know, if you're going to go to a school that's, let's say it's going to cost you $8,000, would you learn more by spending that $8,000 on materials and experimenting? I think you might. Now, you would learn different things. And a school kind of teaches you in a shotgun manner. So, hey, wife,
Yes.
could you tell a story while I go get a Wolfman pattern?
I have a story.
You do have a story. You could tell people about Monster Camp. You could tell people about anything.
Trying to.
I'm going to need this again, so I'm not going to put it far.
To ask people what they want a story about. I don't have a story.
Without naming names, you could tell them about the worst haunted house you've ever been through.
Oh, no.
Or you could tell them about the best haunted house you've ever been through. You went to Netherworld last year. You could talk to them about Netherworld. I'm sure they've all heard of Netherworld. It's one of my favorite places.
Or Halloween Extreme.
Haunted Overload.
Haunted Overload. Couldn't say it. Oh my gosh. I think Haunted Overload was.
Your favorite?
Oh gosh, I don't pick favorites.
I pick favorites.
No, I'm not gonna pick favorites. Okay, so 2003, Alan took Halloween off from the haunted house he was directing to make some money to pay his cast by winning some Halloween costume contests, and he was a 8-foot stilt gargoyle, wings and fangs. He's absolutely beautiful. And that was the night before Halloween, and then Halloween fell on a Sunday. So he did that on Saturday before Halloween, and Sunday, Halloween night, he came to my house, and I had trick-or-treaters coming to the house, and he hid around the corner. And at the time, I lived in an old neighborhood that had gotten a little rough, but I still had trick-or-treaters, and I loved trick-or-treaters. So he completely decked out and hid around the corner. And when kids came around the corner, you know, some of the kids were little, and you gotta be careful with that because you don't want to traumatize them too much. But then some of them are teenagers, and those are fair game. So he would come around the corner, and he would nail them. He would take off chasing them, and as the night went on, some of them would come back, some would come back with friends, some people, word got around, and before we knew it, the entire night, we were just hammered. I ran out of candy. Nobody cared about the candy. They wanted to see the monster come out and scare them. Cops came, and I thought we were going to get in trouble, you know, for disturbing the peace, and they weren't having an issue with that at all. They just wanted to watch the show of the gargoyle coming out and terrifying children. And somewhere, kids got the idea that a property line designates how far the monster can go. So they would take off running, run through the sidewalk into the street, and turn around in relief thinking, well, I got away, not thinking that the monster would no longer chase them because they had crossed a property line. And that's not written anywhere in any rules and regs. And so he kept chasing them. And on the stilts with the quad wings, he's incredibly fast, and so he would just chase them down. Some kids were showing up with van loads of kids, dropping the kids off. Kids would come out screaming and trying to jump in any car they could get into. And this went on for hours until finally about 11:30 we kind of had to shut it down because the next day it was work and school and all the other things, and it was just too loud. So the next morning I was going out to the front yard where all the chaos had ensued, and there was pagers, and I say pagers, remember this is 2003, pagers and a shoe and car keys and glasses, and you know, people just left there. It looked like people blew up, and it was a huge night of pretty much terrorizing kids. And it was one of the ways I pretty much knew I was going to marry him, besides the fact that he is so kind to animals and elderly people, that I just thought this was great, because some of these kids were surly and needed to be scared. They were completely humbled and terrified because they just thought they were coming up and getting candy and had no idea there was an 8-foot stilt monster around the corner. And as the night progressed, really no one came and got candy anymore, which was great because I ran out. But all they wanted was to get terrified. The next year I moved. I bought a house and I moved. So I was thankful for that because I was pretty sure that he wasn't going to be able to do Halloween every year at this house. He was going to be working. And sure enough, that's the last free Halloween we had. And he's worked everyone at a different haunted house ever since. So that is one of the ways I knew I was going to marry Alan, is how he utterly and mercilessly terrified teenagers on a Halloween night. It made me very, very happy. Back to you, Alan.
Hooray! Tales of Alan and Shannon Past. So this is the pattern for the fur that goes on the Wolfman masks.
Well, I totally enjoyed YouTube Wednesday. I don't mind if it doesn't come back, because that will mean you are plenty busy and blessed.
Okay, so here's a kicker. Aha, it does this. You gotta figure out how your patterns work. And for me to make this work, see how there's a center line? I line that up, and there's a little square that lines up right here, and there's a circle that lines up over here. So now I know that this goes just like that. And this is the facey face. And the sew edge. Yep. Okay, so what I'm missing now is fur.
Greetings from PA. Where are you located?
We are in Quinlan, Texas, which is right near Dallas. So now you guys are going to come with me while I grab some fur. I want a couple different colors of fur because I want some variety in my werewolves, my wolfmen. See all those rolls of fur and fabric? Yeah. Pop my head in the other room. I'm going to count real quick. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 wolfmen. I have to fur. Let's do one in white. Oh, that'll be nice. Let's do one in this dark brown. That'll be nice. Gray is good for werewolves. Let's do 1 or 2 in this gray. I wonder if this piece is big enough to get. No, I wouldn't get much out of it. Okay. And we can do 1 wolfman in black. That is not enough black. I have a roll of it right here. So now I have to carry this fur into the other room. You guys are going to stay there and think about what you've done. I think I can carry you guys with these 2 rolls. Sorry, you guys went on a ride. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll shut that door.
I hate cutting fur.
Maybe you hate cutting at fur because you're not doing it the easiest way possible. I guarantee you I do it the easiest way possible. I don't mind cutting fur. Are you cutting fur with scissors? Kind of like cutting fur. Right now, there are so many different processes going on in this shop that it's very hard for me to keep clean and organized because there's just so much.
Cut fur with a razor upside down.
Yes, that's how I cut it. But I also use not just a razor, I use a persona blade, which I think does make a big difference. Remember I used this part of the table as a pallet earlier. So I want to put a napkin over that so I don't get that in my hair. This paint is still wet. Even though I dry brushed, I still made a puddle. Me making puddles is okay. But puppies, not so much. Always note your fur direction, which way your fur is going. Should be noted on your patterns too. Again, I did make all of my own patterns. All right, so I'm just going to use a Sharpie. It'll be, you guys won't be able to see my lines, but I will be able to. I hope.
I ordered a parrot that could talk, but the parrot never said it was hungry, so it's dead now.
Who was that?
Valentine Collection says, I got jokes.
Not if that's an example. That's bird murder. We don't take kindly no bird murder around here. This back of the head, it says. It's a Persona blade type blade. Very sharp. I don't want to cut all the way through the fur. I really just want to cut the backing. Because a big part of this fur looking good at the end is the hair that hangs down past my cut line. If I just cut that with scissors, I wouldn't get that. It would look like this edge. Well, this edge just, the hair wasn't over it, but it's still there on the edge.
Is there a website that sells those patterns, or did you design those?
I designed them because it's for my werewolf mask. It'll generally fit other things, but it's mostly for my mask.
Well, I did just eat a chicken, so I guess I'm destined for blockhood. Still dig your work.
Woohoo! Yeah, chicken's delicious. I had meatloaf. It was awesome. Okay, that piece of pattern goes with that piece of fur. I think I have room over here for this beard area. Now my roll is on the ground on the other side, so I can just pull it, it'll come off of that roll. So it'll fit well.
What is Monster Camp?
Wife, while I'm working here, why don't you come up behind the camera and tell them what Monster Camp is? I'll fill in if I think you're wrong.
Of course you will. So when Alan does these live feeds, many times people would comment that they wish that they could do that, but they don't have talent or they don't have the ability. And no matter how good the video, there were certain factors that people were not confident about, like sculpting or the texture of plaster when you're getting ready to mold and several things. And we thought it would be the best way to learn how to do it would be to be in the shop with him. And then 2 years ago, we moved to this location, which had a 1,800 square foot shop, which was one of the selling factors for us, that we knew this would be a really good place for his shop, and there was plenty of room for a classroom. And we came up with the idea to see if people would be interested in coming here for a
We came up with the idea? Whose idea was Monster Camp?
It was my idea.
Right.
Monster Camp was my idea. It was to make a 3-day long, completely immersive workshop in which you could come here and learn the whole process in a small classroom setting, the sculpting, the painting, all of it. Watch out, you're losing your fur. And we launched the first one in June of 2018, and it sold out pretty fast, and we learned a lot from that one. And then we are now up to Monster Camp 5. We sadly can't do as many of them as we'd like to because it takes a considerable amount to pull one off. But they're going well because people do like to come here in this classroom, in this workshop, and for 3 days learn how to do this. And we usually keep the classes 6 to 8 students, no more, so that we can have that intimacy of good teaching and personal attention from the instructor. And all the food is included, and it's a lot of fun. It's also very intense. It's a fast-moving 3 days, and but if anybody is listening who's been there, I hope they enjoyed it because we think it's very special, and it could be going many places. But right now, I think we're going to do one more. We got one in April that is sold out, and we're going to do one more in May. We're going to launch it soon, and then that's probably going to be it for the year because of so many other things we have lined up. But that is Monster Camp.
Woo. Thanks, wife. I love Monster Camp.
Alan, I just finished my first full mask. It was a gift from my brother, so I gave it to him. Now I find myself missing it. If you ever get attached to your mask, I can pull another, but still I miss it.
No. Because I can make more. And odds are good. The next one that I sculpt is going to be better than the last one. Art changes hands. Art moves around. And I don't think that we should be dragons hoarding over our own art. If your art is good, if your art serves a purpose, like I think a mask should, then it's going to move around, and that's okay.
Guys, Monster Camp is amazing. If you can go, go. I was only a spectator, but I still got so much out of it. That's Sarah.
Oh, cool.
I'm a Monster Camp alum. I strongly recommend it. That was Warren. Lockhart, go to Monster Camp. It's a blast. That's Kenny and Connie. Wow, that's exactly like the Veneteering school I went through, except it was not extensive as Monster Camp.
Well, there's a lot to a half mask, and I'm willing to bet as soon as I expand Monster Camp and say, okay, now it's a 2-part mold process. Now it's a 2-part mask mold Monster Camp. I think some of the people who came through the first time might want to come again to see that different process. But it is a great way to jumpstart. And just, a lot of people don't make masks because they've never mixed plastic. Well, come here, mix plastic. Get over it.
Does Amazon have those machinist squares?
Yeah, okay, so these are called 1, 2, 3 blocks. One day I will have an Amazon affiliate store that will show up, but right now I do not. One day I will. These are 1, 2, 3 blocks. They're called 1, 2, 3 blocks because it's 1 inch by 2 inches by 3 inches. It's a 1, 2, 3 block. So I just use them as shop weights to hold down patterns most of the time.
What if you've never sculpted before? Is Monster Camp for me, or should I practice and learn prior to attending?
Most people who come to Monster Camp have never sculpted before. So you do not need to. I'm not going to let you leave here with a crap mask. If you're willing to listen to me, then I'm going to keep you from making a crap mask. So your mask will turn out just fine.
You made a video a few years ago about a shopping haul you went on for your birthday. Is that video still up? Looking for it, but I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, that was the art supply store. It's still up. I don't take videos down, so I'm sure it's still up. I went to several art supply stores. That is where that came from. That's what they're talking about. So now I have these 3 pieces in brown, and I'm going to just set them over here with one of these masks. I'm going to cut out another one in brown. I'll do 2 in brown. Brown's a pretty good werewolf color, I think. A Wolfman color. And a lot of people have brown hair and brown beards, so that'll blend in.
My first mask was a placenta. The doctor said it was gross. Hashtag compliments rock.
Okay. Yeah, that's gross.
Do you happen to remember the name of the video or the year that you put it up? It's the birthday video.
No. I'm sorry. But if you send me a message on YouTube, I'll find it and send you a direct link. I will do that for you.
Can you or have you done a video on pattern making?
Yes, if you watch my Krampus video series, I do several videos. I show the pattern making process there. I'm taking this in because I want it to be a little tighter. So I'm bringing this back panel in so it'll be a little bit tighter to the head. Yeah, I really don't get a lot of mess when I'm cutting fur, so I have no issues with it. I don't mind cutting fur. I can cut fur all day long. As much as I can do anything all day long. Doing something all day long is really not my strong point. plenty. You notice I didn't use the 1, 2, 3 blocks for the other piece of the pattern because it was just pretty straightforward. This guy has a lot of flaps, and if it moves around, it's just going to cause a problem. My fur direction is marked, and I'm making sure that I keep the fur direction lined up correctly the whole time.
Good night, Warren.
Good night, Warren. When I'm feeling very brave, I just cut it. I don't trace it. It's been almost a year since I've used this hair pattern, so I am going through all the motions to get it back in my muscle memory. I'll be doing this about 10 or 15 times before Transworld, so it'll be back in my muscle memory. And that first one I wrote all the extra stuff on, like where all the sew lines were and stuff. I'm not going to do that on this one, because I'll remember. Just marking where I sew. That's 2. This is the 3rd piece of this pattern. Okay.
Make sure she's okay.
I will not be answering comments for a little bit because my wife is stepping away for a moment. So now's your chance to act up. She'll never see it. But I will. Yeah, so you'll note on this pattern, you know, I've got Wolfman face 2018 because that is the year I sculpted this mask. I have sculpted probably 10 Wolfman masks in my time, and I want to make sure that this pattern fits the right mask. The new Wolfman that I just did, he's actually going to get hair. And that way he'll better match up with the suit that he's with, which is a longer haired suit. Kind of breaks my heart. I'm going to throw away this scrap. It's really not enough to do anything with. But it's a big piece. Ah! There was a time I never would have thrown that away. I was very poor at one point in my life. I'm glad I'm not that anymore. It's a giant blessing, I believe, to be able to make something for money. I need money, so I will make something and people will buy that from you. You can turn raw materials, make them have more, you can increase the material value. That's a cool skill. Whether it's by welding it, painting it, sewing it, whatever the process is. are skilled if something comes to you to receive value. This piece over here needs cut. Okay, that is 2 Wolfman masks ready to be sewn together. Let's put this brown, get this brown rolled up. Don't have a lot of this brown left, but I have enough for the gloves. That's cool. I'll be doing some werewolves out of this too. Werewolves are a little different pattern. Just do one white one right now. What's happening here? It's terrible when your fur does this. Who put this back? Person's a communist, I hate them. Up here is where it widens out. All of this. Well, I'm not going to chuck this. I know that's useful. But I will do that. I'm going to do it reverse order this time. This is all fun fur. I use this some. I also use another type of material. Secure that. I'm aware of my fur direction. Every pattern has the direction the fur ought to be going, marked with an arrow. Now, Kenny, you're doing Wolfman, because I saw your sculpture. Looks good. The Krampus video, making a Krampus mask, has how I do the patterns. So, there you go. Probably should trace it out. I was just going to jump right on it, wasn't I? Now, will this stay white? I don't know. I may airbrush it gray. How is little girl dog, honey?
She's fine, she's
Is
good.
she asleep?
She was hammered. Now she's excited to be here.
We had 2 puppies in here with us. The 3rd puppy just stayed asleep on the floor and didn't come in.
Okay. Still a baby.
Now, Bella is here. This is Bella. My puppies' names are Bella, Boris, and Cheney. And I can tell Bella apart from Boris because she has little black goth lipstick on. See that? Shame I don't like the dogs. All right, let's get you down. Whoever buys this might be allergic to dogs.
Thanks, guys. I'm dying to go to Monster Camp. I can't imagine learning from Alan in person. I'm sure it's amazing. His online tutorials are an amazing resource, and Alan is a blessing.
Oh, that's so nice. I should give you $5. What a nice thing you said.
Because I would patch those little pieces together on a piece of nylon.
You could do that.
You can make wristbands or headbands with those straps.
I sure could. How many wristbands or headbands do I need? So keep making straps.
Kenny says, thanks, cuz. I'm going to Joann's tomorrow for fur.
There you go. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Very excited to see that sucker poured up. Maybe we could trade blanks, Kenny. I love me a good werewolf. If there's a blank of mine you might want to paint up and play with.
Pups seem to be growing quick.
Oh, they're so fast growing. It's crazy. Right back. But wait, there's more.
It's curing now, and Connie made a pumpkin head.
Did she? That's awesome. For this type of persona blade, there actually is a little holder that you can use.
Nick from Monster Camp 3 says, checking in. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Nick's got a zombie he's working on. Nick, have you molded that zombie yet, or are you still tweaking it?
Nick says, ears.
Ears are a constant struggle. Lots of artists struggle with ears. Ask Van Gogh. Okay, this piece is separate. And this fur can actually go away, because remember I've got that stash of fur underneath the stool.
You would just have to ask him his good ear. Van Gogh struggled with every form. LOL. You guys are bad.
I'm just going to put this, normally I would say with a pattern, always put it over to the edge and get as much usable material left as you can. But I know I'm going to throw it away, so I'm not worried about it right now. I'm just going to plot that sucker in the middle. Did 1, 2, 3 blocks, make it super simple. And I am chugging along, and I'm just going to knock out as much as I can. I have a lot of Wolfman masks to do. but I don't necessarily want to spend one full night only cutting out fur. That would not be fun to me. So I'll do, you know, I'll get 6 of these guys ready to go. I already have 2. This is 3.
Scott Colvard posted the pattern making mask for
Scott, thank you so much.
Michael Astor signing off.
Good night, sir. Wife, what's the more popular werewolf color, black or salt and pepper gray?
Black.
Wife says black.
Oh, that's one of the most popular. I've never designed patterns before. I'm definitely going to watch those videos. Very cool.
They help. I'm partial, but I think they help. I think they're useful tools. Scott, will I be seeing you at any of the shows coming up? I think I saw you at MHC last year in Chicago. Are you going to that one again?
Scott, did you mean yes? You posted YW.
You're welcome.
Oh,
I said thank you for
he
posting
says
it.
no, not this year.
Okay. There we go. This will be a white Wolfman, but I will airbrush him to be gray. So he'll have black and white, and he'll be gray. I kind of want all these Wolfmen to have gloves too, so that'll be a whole other night of cutting fur.
Right off the tub of them that we found in the boot building. There's a lot of stuff already cut out.
That's true. Better for your razor blades if you don't drop them on the floor. Helpful tip.
Kitty says mine's gonna be salt and pepper because he's old and crippled like me.
Brother, I hear ya. All right. That's what I'll do. Just working on taking a little bit of slop out of this head. They're looking for stuff they can get into. Because now they're awake. That means our lives are harder. Wife, would you hand me that beverage that I've got sitting over there with ice in it?
She has a 1-inch chip brush in her mouth.
I'm both appalled that she has a chip brush, and I'm proud that you knew it was a 1-inch chip brush.
Where are you guys located?
We are in Quinlan, Texas, about an hour east of Dallas. Yeah, east of Dallas. I said that right. I did good. You guys can tell I'm doing this in hard mode now because there is a puppy pulling on the other side of the table, trying to drag this fur off the table.
He's laying on the fur.
Who is laying on the fur?
Boris and the boy.
Oh, boys.
He's chewing on the fur. Boris? Boris! No, come here. Come here. Come in. Come on. This will be the lizard. I'm gonna give him a toy.
Okay.
How did that toy cost? $20 for chewing on a chip brush.
Not important. I did buy them some new toys today, so we're hoping the allure of the new toys gets them out of my hair a little bit. The silver marker is way more effective for showing up. Okay. Now I have already made these patterns, so this isn't like a learning thing because I've already made them. But I did make this pattern on a YouTube live video in 2018, so this very pattern I'm cutting, I did live. For a while there I was doing Facebook and YouTube, but it's so hard to look up, and no one bothers to look up Facebook Live videos. You know, you don't look, they're not like, they don't sit there like a catalog of videos, and that's what I want my YouTube channel to do. See how well that blends in? How do you say? Old and grizzled like me? Yeah. Garbage. Pattern piece. pattern takes up very little space on this roll. These rolls are 60 inches wide. You have to buy them, and they come, I believe it is 12 yards, no, 16 yards on a roll. But I go through a lot of fur, so it's a smart buy for me. Sometimes the fur at the fabric store is only 45 inches wide. The 60 is nice because I can get all the mask pieces out of a strip. I only use about 18 inches or so, you know. I still do make mistakes every now and then, like cutting it the wrong fur direction or something like that. But the more you do it, the more rare those mistakes get. Hallelujah. Because they are a time eater and a material eater.
It says, good evening, master of the masks and his faithful minions.
Hello.
Will you be applying these tonight?
Alexa, what time is it?
It's 10:10 p.m.
It is Saturday. I might put one on tonight.
Doing the hair like this really adds nice look, I would think.
It does. There's a company that was very influential on me, and that is Zagone Studios. They didn't used to be called Zagone Studios. They used to be called B Something Studios. And B Something Studios had some of, in my opinion, the best Wolfman masks out there. So theirs was very much this fabric style, this type of fur. And that's something that I have taken to be, the way it ought to be done. That's how I feel it ought to be done. So that's how I do it now. Because of Be Something Studios, who is now Zagone Studios. For years, I had a job in downtown Orlando. I was a rollerblading Wolfman. And I gave away free admission to a bar while in a Wolfman costume and on rollerblades. That was how I earned my living. And I wore a Be Something Studios mask while I was doing it. That I purchased from a magic shop that was at Church. That was at Church Street Station. We used to have a little magic shop there.
The doggo is just aging the fur. He is chewing to help.
Right. Yes. He's pre-distressing that fabric for you.
Is there a store for your products?
I have a website. Right now, it does not have all the masks up on the website because I'm about to go to Transworld. And if you place an order right now, it would be about 2 months before I filled it. Before I filled that order. So right now, there's very little on it. There's only a few things that I already have in stock. But if you go to Stiltbeast Studios at stiltbeaststudios.com, you can see the masks that I do have on sale. So this says to sew. And ordinarily I sew. But I might hot glue simply because this isn't something that's going to be put in the washing machine. It's going to be on a mask. So it's not like a hot dryer, and you can't put this hair in a dryer anyway. It's not like it's going to go in a dryer that's going to cause issues for the hot glue. I'm also going to use a super high temp hot glue gun when I put this together. This goes together like so.
Since how long have you been on? I didn't get a notification. It's been on an hour and a half.
I've been on for an hour and a half. So why isn't this all one piece? It's because the hair direction is a little bit different. I want the hair direction on this to be different than the very back of the head. So they can't be cut out of the same piece. Okay. I'm going to get my hot glue gun plugged in, and I'm going to start putting this together. And you'll see what I mean. First off, the hot glue gun that I'm using is massive.
I just watched Hereditary. What was going on in that flick?
Crazy cult stuff.
Scott is saying good night.
Good night, Scott. Hello, Bella. Now this hot glue gun has an off and on switch, as well as you got to plug it in. And that gets a lot of the folks who work here, because they plug it in and they come back 5 minutes later. They're like, why is this hot? You didn't turn it on. Okay. These puppies. I need to set you up always so you can survey the whole room and watch these houndos.
I can see them right
Oh, on the camera? Okay.
Do you prefer gray werewolves or brown werewolves?
When I was younger, I preferred brown werewolves. Now I prefer gray werewolves. Can't imagine why. Yeah, but to me, the howling werewolves were what werewolves were supposed to be. Okay. We are still heating. I'm going to lay this out so that all this hair, see this hair hanging down? That's what I'm going to glue into. The glue getting into all the fibers of the hair, that is what really makes this bond. It just grabs every individual hair and holds on tight. You know, it's like trying to break a bundle of sticks. There's so much adhesion power in all of those. It's just nice. Hashtag adhesion power. My tippy is drippy. That's how I know I'm ready to go. Not ready to go. Come on and get hot. You are doing me a frustrate. What do you guys want to talk about?
I refuse to do hashtags. It's still a pound sign. That was cobwebs and candlesticks and just jumped in.
Well, now we know that you're old. See how you revealed yourself right then? Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Normally I don't hashtag things either, but I tend to say hashtag something something way more often than I actually put it on social media. Am I ready now? No. What is going on? Let's crank this up. I cranked up my heat. I might have a super high temperature glue stick in there, and it's taking a bit. But a good glue gun is vital.
Boris, come over here.
There we go. That went from 0 to hero all of a sudden. And I'm really pressing and letting that glue get in all of those fibers. I'm gonna back that heat down now too. Oh boy, that's so warm. Had some kind of little blockage. And then once again, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm going to put the glue on this hair that hangs down, and then I'll pick this up and put it on it. And we'll do this one glued. We'll see how this goes. Normally I sew it, but there's no reason why glue wouldn't work. You know, it's not something that's going to get washed. And I can't glue it to the latex. You remember I cut a little bit off of this back piece? Well, that was, you know, my seam allowance, and then a little bit more. So it's not like I'm going to make it smaller by gluing it together. By gluing it together like this, I'll probably make it a bigger actually.
Will this be your Transworld suit?
This will be one of the. I'm just going to pick one of my products to go to Transworld in, to go to the ball in, because I sell a lot of werewolf stuff. Every year I have a shelf that's called Werewolf Central, because I love werewolves. So this might be, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Connie Callan has joined us.
Who has?
Connie Callan.
Hello, Connie. Okay. And when you use such a high heat, it does tend to stay liquid for a while. I'm not a big fan of that. Make sure we don't glue it to the table. And make sure that I can brush it out on the other side.
Bella. Let's go. Come here, guys. Come on. Bella. Come on, let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
And again, I'm working it into the fibers on both sides. Now, this is, if you're like a person with sensitive fingers, this is not for you. Because this hot glue is all over my fingers. And I'm literally pinching it and moving it, and it's sticking to my finger, and then I pull it up, and you know, that's all just glue. It's all good. Aha! We are doing good. We are moving along. Every day I'm shuffling. Now these two pieces here glue together. And I've done this a lot, so that's how I know what to keep track of and what glues to wear. So that's the way I know.
This Connie Pierce who's Connie Palance.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been in business?
Wife? I've been doing this for, oh Lord, a long time. Let's just say that. I've been doing this for a long time. But, under the banner of Stilt Beast Studios, 10, 15 years? Yeah, 15 years. I think I'd say. We now have the pheasant toy back there, which is a big favorite. Not like a zoot suit wearing werewolf, just like, you know, they say, dude, pimp my car. Well, this is dude, pimp my werewolf. So I'm working on some werewolves, pimping them up. Because lycanthropy ain't easy. All right, so this side is good. Take a moment and pull the glue off my fingers. Just so that the next time I touch glue, it hurts just as much as the first time.
What's your favorite werewolf movies?
Whew.
You do more than one.
All right. Bad Moon. A lot of folks don't know it. Bad Moon. It's a good one. Project Metal Beast. It's a good one. There's a movie called Howl that I think it's a fun, good movie. That's good. Wolf Cop is good. The first Howling is good. None of the other Howlings are good. So there you go. In the movie Van Helsing that came out fairly recently, the werewolf in that looks good.
They make silicone fingertip protectors for hot glue.
They do. I don't have enough feeling left in my fingers to worry about it now.
I was thinking like Zoot Suit and Kane style glue.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know what you meant when you said Tex Avery. That visual popped in my head immediately.
No Underworld?
I don't mind the Underworld werewolves. I like those. I think Underworld is more of a vampire movie, as far as movies go. You name the guy who plays the werewolf? Because I can't.
The actor?
Mm-hmm. Michael Fassbender is the guy who plays the hybrid. Kate Beckinsale plays one of the vampires. And a guy who looks like but isn't John Travolta plays another vampire.
I like the part 2, your sister is a werewolf. That's when they raid the castle. Did you, Scott Speedman is their second actor.
Well, he's not he doesn't play a werewolf, he plays a hybrid. He's half werewolf, half vampire. That's why everybody wants him.
Did you see the werewolf at the Universal Studios Van Helsing haunt? It was a great effect.
I did. It was great.
Mine's the American Werewolf in London and Howard.
You know what? I don't necessarily like the werewolf in American Werewolf in London. To me, it's too wolf-like. I prefer a definite Krynos form, half man, half wolf. Whether it's a Wolfman or a snouted werewolf that walks on 2 legs. I'm not a big fan of werewolves that walk on 4 legs. I'm only meh with the werewolf from Ginger Snaps. That's a quadruped werewolf. I tend to like my werewolves bipedal. I like them to be bipedal. You know? Alright, so now I can take this, because this is a full hood, and now I can take this hood, and I can put it on Wolfman over there. So I'm going to bring the Wolfman over here. I will get him put to this table, bring my glue back. I want my glue back.
What about Universal's 2010 Wolfman?
I love it. It's great. I just forgot to mention that one.
Michael Sheen played the werewolf.
Okay.
Michael Sheen was married to Kate Beckinsale. The transformation in American Werewolf in London, though, one of the reasons I got into FX.
It's good. It's a good piece of effects work. My favorite werewolf transformation, though, is in the movie Monster Squad. And it is not a long, grueling process. He changes into a werewolf in a phone booth. And it takes, 5 full seconds, and that's it. And I love that, because that, to me, that shows control and power. If it's torturous every single time, I think I want being a werewolf to be really cool. So I don't want it to hurt that much.
I love the transformation in Fright Night, too.
Yeah, Fright Night. That's a good one.
My buddy was asking to audition for Monster Squad. I kid you not, was asked.
That's cool. Okay. Monster Squad, really one of my favorite movies as a kid. So I have contact cement here, and I'm just slathering on a healthy amount of contact cement.
Did you like Silver Bullet?
It was alright. It was okay. Not a lot of werewolf action in it for me. I prefer more werewolves in my werewolf movies. I don't like werewolf movies that turn into just a whodunit. And that kind of was a whodunit for a while.
Monster Squad count? Count Dracula, or was Monster Squad?
Monster Squad counts. That was a cool Wolfman.
I said you could have kicked the Wolfman in the nards.
You know what? That was a rough year for me, because I was a Wolfman in haunted houses. And every kid wanted to just kick you in the nards. Wore a cup for 4 or 5 years after that movie came out. These kids are vicious. Alright, so contact cement is on this part. Get this out of my way. Move, mess! Get out the way! And now I'm putting contact cement on this. I think I'm going to change tactics and move over to my airbrush for that. Is the dog?
No. Just watching. He did commercials with Ron Howard and was asked to audition in California for Monster Squad.
Well, that's very cool. We've gotten the parts, and I would have kind of known somebody who was in Monster Squad.
Kenny told me you might do a class on full head sculpts in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to do one Life, when are we doing that?
I don't know.
Is that 2021?
Not this year.
Yeah, it can't be 2020 because we're booked up for 2020. I wish that wasn't the case, but that's the case. Okay. Just wants attention, I think.
Best scare I ever got in a haunt was as a scarecrow set up a W in an obvious scare spot so people thought it was a guy waiting to jump out. When their attention was on the dummy, I snuck slightly right up to them so they turned and I was right there. It scared one guy so bad, he fell back and crab walked away from him.
That is what it's all about. That kind of happening when I was a youngster is what made me absolutely continue doing haunted houses to the age I am today.
Have you ever heard the story, The Land Between the Lakes?
I've not. I've not heard that. But there's a really cool book called Those Across the River, which is a horror novel, which is wonderful. That is written by a friend of mine. Okay. All right, so to spray contact cement, I'm going to tell you, you need to have your PSI pretty high. My PSI coming out of the compressor, I think it's set at 90. So 90 to 100 is good. I use this airbrush here, black airbrush from Harbor Freight. I do actually have to hook the air up. My airbrush is on quick connect, so I can quickly connect, which is why it's called a quick connect. You can quickly connect. So this is going to actually go on this way. Now, if I were like a perfectionist and really good at what I do, I would have dry fit this to make sure it was gonna, work well, but bah! Who does that? I think that is not brand new, so it's a little thick. I gotta thin it.
It's about this young family that was killed, land between the lakes. They say it was a wolf-like beast.
Huh. I do like me some wolf attacks. Everything that I'm using right now is disposable because naphtha's going to touch it. and that means I can't use it for anything else. And it's actually going to eat through it. Even this little airbrush bottle that I'm using, this will 100% eat through that sucker.
The Liam Neeson movie is pretty awesome, the wolf movie, but just regular wolves, not werewolves.
Is that Into the Gray? Is that what that's called?
Thanks for going through the trouble of doing this so late at night.
Well, I just happen to be working late at night. It's because I make poor choices.
Called The Gray.
The Gray, okay. Okay, so now I've thinned it. It's a lot thinner than it was before. A little bit of naphtha melts right into it. This bottle was pretty full. I added naphtha, but a lot of it sticks to the sides and such. Okay. These, garbage. And I'm hoping that what's in there isn't so thick that it won't get sucked up through the straw.
We can't get naphtha in California, we have to use liner fluid.
Yes, which is made of naphtha, which is one of the most ridiculous things in the world. Sorry, man. What's that?
I'm not gonna help it off. Not gonna help it off and thought that was a carrot.
Okay. Can't get that sprayer to work right now. I need to get new contact cement. That's an older can. So, I'll just paint it on. I prefer to spray because I can control it better. It goes on thinner, but this will work. There is a point that you reach on things where it's no longer worth messing with it.
Is there a glue booger in the nozzle?
There's something going on. But instead of troubleshooting, I'm just going to do it. I know I can do it with a brush. I just prefer the thinner, even coat that I get from the sprayer. What's good is that the stuff on the head has had plenty of time to dry now, and I'll actually be able to apply a second coat really fast, and I'll have a nice bond. So everything has a silver lining. I could get frustrated, I could cuss, I could throw my airbrush across the room. Wouldn't get me done any faster. There's no point in getting mad at tools. Tools either work or you work around them. There are times when you want to do airbrush makeup, but you just have to do makeup. Because airbrushes are dicks. And they don't care about your needs or your wants.
About the land between the lanes, they are saying it was a werewolf.
That's cool. Do you know where it took place? Is that a book? Is it a, like, what medium is that?
you know Brad Hutchinson?
I know the name, yes.
Says delete your channel, you're so bad. Just kidding.
Okay.
Sounds like a country song. I could get mad and cuss, throw my airbrush, but sometimes.
It's easier to just do it. You know, don't get mad, don't get upset at stuff. It doesn't help you. What's that going to help? Honestly, it's pretty much the same as true with people. Does it change a person if you get mad at them or not? No, that person doesn't change. You changed. And probably not for the better. But, what do I know? I just make monsters. Okay, I now have all across that sucker, I have a good amount of glue. So I'm going to put some glue up here. Now I always go back and I airbrush the hairline. I think that looks nice. I will also pull some of the hair forward so that the hair itself kind of sticks down to the mask. I think that looks nice. I try not to have a lot of exposed glue because contact cement does yellow over time. But again, I'm going to airbrush that hairline, so it doesn't really matter to me. Navigate. Alexa, countdown. 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
In 5 minutes, I'm going to check and see if it's ready. So I have some time here at the end of the night. Clean up a little bit. I did a lot of work. I made a lot of mess. Let's pet a dog.
Or a cat.
Or a kitty. Okay, so my patterns can go back for now.
Says that is true about airbrushes. I was a makeup interview and was asked to do a demo and had my brush start spitting and stop working. It sucked and turned out I needed a new needle.
Did you get the job? Did you finish the makeup or did you freak out?
Yes.
Great. That's what matters. I think our dog Bella actually poses. Like, she knows she's being cute.
See, I got the job. I just had to improve.
Improv.
No, he said improve.
Oh.
It's between Kentucky and Tennessee. That's where the land between the lakes is at.
Okay. And was this a movie or is this a story or
A legend?
yeah. I'm sure you're familiar with the Beast of Bray Road from Wisconsin. That's another werewolf legend.
It was a haunt.
Ah,
No, it was a haunt that he had to improve at.
right.
And the airbrush, he needed a new needle for his airbrush.
1, 2, 3 blocks get put away. A little cutter gets put away.
It says improvise.
Yeah. What it sounded like he was trying to say. Oh, all right. So, werewolves. Have 1, 2, 3, 4 werewolves. Right. Tomorrow, I think I'll work on werewolves when I get back home. Okay. Hasn't been 5 minutes yet. I'm not going to move all my hair, my fur to the other room. So I'm going to use the same fur for wolfmen, werewolves. And I actually had one more that I needed to cut out. I did not cut out all the ones I wanted to. But I want to cut that out of black. Do that tomorrow. It's getting late.
Are you making a white one?
Yes. Well, I'm going to airbrush gray into it. So it's going to be white and gray. I'll probably do a white werewolf because those are just so striking. I'm going to bring 5 moving jaw werewolves to the show and 5 of the beard wolfmen to the show. They get sold with teeth. That'll be fun. Hunchback. These guys are waiting on beards. Kind of organizing, you know. There's so much needs to get done right now for Transworld, but I need to make sure it all gets done in the right order. Alexa, stop. All right, feel pretty good about that.
I have a ginger werewolf.
You know what? I actually have ginger fur for a werewolf. Now you see, I'm putting up here first, like what's important. You know, this has to line up right.
Land Between the Lakes is a documentary.
Okay. Thank you. Wonder if I can find it on like the documentary channel. Now you can see I'm just kind of trying to line up all these pieces in the right spot.
Have you heard any of the Wolfman with long hair?
Yes, I have. I have. And this is furring. I'm putting fur on a werewolf right now, on a wolfman right now. And hair is a little different than fur. Okay. Let's get that set. And I pull everything away from that hairline. I'm going to trim up some of this because it's a little bit much right there. I don't need all that.
That looks amazing already. Your camera is not on. There you go.
Okay, so there we go. Now let me trim a little bit of that away. So now I have the hairs on. And I'm even, that's good. My point is down here right in the center, that's what I want. There's a point in the back, that's right in the center also. You kind of have to make sure that's all lined up when you do it. And I'm going to fix the hairline right now. A little bit of silicone caulking. Just a nice, clear silicone caulking.
How about the Michigan dog man?
You mean, yes, there's a Michigan dog man. There's also the Beast of Bray Road, which is a specific instance. Bray Road is Wisconsin. But all those northern states are tiny.
You can listen to it on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'll put that on one day then. I'll get that hole as small as I can, but I'll still be able to get my poker down in there. I know there's a poker attached to this, but it's so gunked up most of the time, it's kind of hard to get off. Okay, so I'm going to go exactly around this hairline. Keeping it nice and tight. I'm not worried about back behind the ear. I'm not worried about on the sides there. Okay, now that I have that on, I'm actually going to take my finger and pull this hair forward. The hair that I had previously swept back, I'm pulling it forward and down into that silicone. And that fur hairline edge is going to disappear. I can pull that fur forward, and I'm being rough. I'm pushing it down. I'm getting it stuck in that silicone. Same is true here. I don't want to see the edge of that fur. So I'm pulling the hair itself up, and that is hiding the edge of the fur. With a little bit of adhesive that is clear silicone caulking. Could be iron grip, that's my favorite. That's actually a silicone adhesive. It's a little expensive. This happens to just be GE clear silicone caulk. Alright, so that is set there. while we can. Blue in my airbrush. Ugh. I wish it were black. That's what I want to use, is black. Pour this out. Clean my airbrush. Grab my alcohol spray, which I think is over here. 99% alcohol into the color cup. I want to shoot it till it's mostly clear. Now, I'm not super worried about it because I'm going from blue to black. And black is a strong enough color, it'll beat anything up. Like whatever's in that airbrush, black is going to beat it up and it'll come out black. So I'm not worried about that. I get to find my black. In this airbrush, my Cache H, I use Pinata inks over top of a latex mask paint base. And I have black in there. And that black might be a little strong, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin it. I'm just going to thin it by putting a little bit of more is that 99% alcohol in there. And that's going to get me a slightly less thick, less pigmented black. Still black, okay? Don't think it's not going to be black. But it's just not as pigment rich as if I didn't have it. I need to control my airbrush, okay? That's true whenever. Just going. And I'm airbrushing that hairline. So the hairline just kind of starts to go away a little bit. While I'm here, I'm going to hit some shadows on the mask. I'm going to re-black the nose.
Awesome work as always. I love it. Mine's the 2006.
Hooray! Thank you. Now, trick. See how that ear kind of blends into the fur? I don't want that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and darken the fur around the ear so that my ear stands out a little bit better. I don't want him to be a no-eared Wolfman. But by darkening that fur, now that ear shows up. I sculpted the ear. I want it to be there. Making sure that that is well pressed there behind my ear. Now I would cut out a little bit more because I have a fuller beard. You can just strap inside. I haven't messed with that. And of course I'd be wearing teeth. So with this, a little more of my beard coming out of it. You know, but just a goatee right now looks okay. So this was a Wolfman mask. There you go. We did it. We did that today. Isn't that kind of cool?
Is that a Bigfoot air freshener?
Yes, I do have a Bigfoot air freshener.
You know what I'm talking about. Awesome.
Right here. That's a Bigfoot air freshener. All right, gang. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I went till 11 p.m. So that's a lot. I mean, that's a long time. But I got a cool Wolfman done. All right, gang. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Appreciate you being here. I've already turned off everything. Wife, thanks for hanging out and helping. We say, go make stuff.